We don't need to have a discussion over whether it's cleaner than coal or dirtier than coal. They both need to go. We want to keep our backyards, our environment, our families, our communities healthy, but we also want to keep our climate as stable as we can. We're already seeing climate change. My backyard, I experienced 200-year floods and a 500-year flood in a 5-year period. In 2006, it took out my business at that point, which was a vegetable farm. It took out 3 of my tractors, all my irrigation equipment, and 60% of my topsoil on all my field. That's what we're all dealing with now. Any kind of false solution, calling natural gas, it can be done safely. It can't be done safely. That's why we're here. And there's a disconnect between the people that are in charge and the people like us that know what it does. So I don't want to take all the time here. I want to give space for other spokes to, and I already forgot who Alex told me was speaking next. So, okay, then it's very appropriate that Isaac would be the next one. The local hero, Isaac. Citizen action. Step up here.
Oh, okay. We get to get cozy together.
Yeah, we're getting cozy.
All right. Holy cow.
There you go, Isaac.
All right. Everybody yell as loud as you can. So I'm not as fiery as Wes right now because I'm exhausted. This has been a tremendous effort to get people out. Everyone here made a ton of phone calls. I mean, it's been a ton of emails. People did a ton of driving. So I looked at the most recent email that I sent out with this logistical mess that we all just entered, and I said, is anyone actually going to come tomorrow? So I want everyone, seriously, give yourselves a round of applause right now. Because, I mean, basically everything was changing last minute. But you know what? We're here. I'm actually supposed to, and a quick tangent. So I'm supposed to be on vacation right now. I'm supposed to be biking around Lake Ontario, but we were able to push back the trip 2 days to today. Today I drive up to Syracuse. I take 2 weeks vacation. I've done the Finger Lakes too. They're beautiful. So why am I here? I moved here for school some years ago. I fell in love with the area. There's such amazing local stuff happening here. Fracking threatens all of that. I got my sister to move up here. I love Binghamton so much. And she lives right across the street from a fracker. And that scares the hell out of me, quite frankly. This is my home. This is my community. And I'm not going to let this happen here. Period. Who is with me? Louder! So we're here today because the press asked me, so why are you here today?
Ban fracking now!
Oh, I've got an answer. That was rhetorical. Just give me a minute. So why are we here today? Because President Obama's here today. Why does that matter? Because President Obama is the cheerleader on fracking. He is one of the voices that is pushing this through. So years ago, I never thought I would have to play politics. He's acknowledged climate change. That's huge. That is a huge, tremendous plus. He is ass backwards on this issue.
And he's sounding a lot like Cheney.
And he's sounding a lot like Cheney. So we're here today. I mean, look, the science is here. Pennsylvania is not that far. Pennsylvania, we stand 8 miles north of active drilling right now. Right now, our water and our air are immediately in jeopardy because air and water do not respect state lines. This is a federal issue. This is Obama's call. He could be a leader here. He wasn't the person I voted for 8 years ago, and then 4 years ago because the alternative made bile rise in my stomach. So before I go and bore everyone, I want to end with really a sincere thank you. So I've been at this 3 years. I'm looking at Elaine Perkis, who just rolled up. I learned so many skills from this woman. I'm actually going to hand off the mic real quick before, Walter, are you cool if I put someone right in front of you? I'm going to hand the mic off to someone who actually has inspired me and taught me so much over the years. Okay, before I do that. Okay, I'm a little sleep deprived. It's been a long week. So we're going to be at this a long time. Take care of yourselves and each other. That does not get said enough. Take care of yourselves and each other. We're going to be at this for years to come.
We're not going anywhere, that's for sure.
We're not going anywhere, that's for sure. And personal sustainability is really important, and that does not get talked about enough, because it's not really the sexiest topic. But with that, so I've had the, I graduated 2 years ago. I never thought that this was what I'd be doing, but I'm going to introduce to you someone who really has inspired me. She's quiet. She didn't want to be called up. She's going to share a few words. Her name is Rima Loeb. She's an amazing, amazing woman. So give Rima a round of applause. Thank you, everyone. And again, thank you, everyone, for being here. And we can... I'm just going to close. We can win this. We will win this. We must win this. We do not have a choice. This is our home that's on the line. This is our community, and we are not going to give up. We're going to go down kicking and screaming, but we're not going to go down because we're going to win. Rima Loeb.
Thank you. I'm not a public speaker, and every single person here could, by telling what they're doing here and telling their story, could be here talking. I'm here for the future. I'm 80 years old, and I'm here for the future, for these little kids running around with ban fracking signs. You know, the president has children, and I do think there's a level of caring, and somehow we've got to get his attention, get his consciousness that it's not just our children who are going to be destroyed by this. All children will be destroyed. Someone has a sign, natural gas is worse for climate change. And it is. It is. It's the methane, and you all know this, is at least 25% more potent.
25 times.
25 times, thank you. So, thank you for being here, and we are not giving up.
Right.
You know, my home and land are in Afton. My son and grandson are living there now. I come down frequently. I'm living with my daughter in Massachusetts. Those people are awake, and they're ready to join us. This whole country is ready to join us. It's not fracking or tar sands or liquid gas terminals. It's all of it. We are all together, all of our groups. No, none of this is good, and we're going to stop it. And we're going to have the sun and the wind, tides, small geothermal. That's coming. One way or another, it's coming, and nobody can stop it.
So our next speaker is Walter Hank from Toxics Target.
Thank you so much for coming. I mean, we have all worked so incredibly hard, and the reason that Pennsylvania has fracking and we don't is because we're better organized. It's as simple as that. So the bottom line is that not a single shale gas well has ever been fracked in New York State because no final supplemental generic environmental impact statement has been adopted. That's now been held off for 5 years because of you. And then about a year ago, when it appeared that the governor was right on the verge of permitting fracking by adopting a final SGICE, he got cold feet. Do I hear the sound of a chicken? Andrew Cuomo, what are you afraid of? How come you're not here in Binghamton? Why are you snubbing the President of the United States? Query me that. So a year ago, he basically said he's going to try to buy off the big greens, right? He said, well, you want an independent health assessment. You're not going to get that, but we'll give you a Department of Health review. No one even knew what that was. It wasn't written down on a piece of paper. So it wasn't until the end of November that we figured out, hey, they said they're not going to adopt the final SGICE until this Department of Health review is completed. So our strategy for 4 years now has been, don't let the final SGICE be completed. Then the moratorium just continues. The 1992 GICE took 12 years to adopt. So now, as you know, we've spent an incredible amount of time trying to screw up this Department of Health review because it's secret, there's no public participation, and now we're pushing for a comprehensive public health impact study because the Department of Health said we're going to be informed by 3 outside investigations that are underway. 2 aren't even happening because of lack of funding. The EPA study isn't going to be done until 2016. So the bottom line is, because of all of your efforts, there ain't no fracking in New York. And as long as we stick together and kill this Department of Health review, kill the final SGICE, there ain't going to be any fracking. And so the final thing is, we were getting almost no press after June 20th. It was looking grim, as you know. I was waking up in the middle of the night thinking that the governor was going to sneak it by us on late Friday. And then President Obama is going to come to Binghamton, New York? He has saved us. Thank you, my former NIPERG colleague. Always be good to junior staff. So we've now gotten worldwide press coverage thanks to this fortuitous event. Andrew Cuomo is getting pounded because he's afraid to come here and face all of you. So stay together, stay organized. You can work on anything else you care about. Just help me make sure that there's no final SGICE. Then there's no fracking. Fracking's already spread to more than half the country. So we're the only hope. If we can hold off fracking, if we can get rid of the regulatory exemptions, if we can make sure that you can't spread gas drilling wastewater on roads or dump it into rivers and lakes or into the ground, you know what? The economics of fracking are going to completely change. So we're alive because of all of you, because you've all worked so hard. So no let up. We have more than 1,500 amazing letters to the governor, and keep pressuring those members of the Hydraulic Fracturing Advisory Committee. As long as they cannot provide political backing to the governor is scared to go forward. That's the bottom line. So knock on wood, don't jinx our shutout. Keep writing, keep calling, keep showing up. Bird dog the governor wherever he shows his face. Thank you.
So our next speaker is going to come up, but it looks like we might be getting the motorcade, someone just said. Is that true?
2 big yellow buses first, national media. Motorcycles first.
That's a sheriff's motorcycle, so it's not the motorcade. So our next speaker doesn't need a whole lot of introduction. You all know her by this point, Sandra Steingraber.
President Obama spent the night last night in Auburn, New York, and the news reports are he worked out this morning in the Auburn Y. Yay. Really? Right. Yeah. Auburn, New York, the home of Harriet Tubman, is the icon for the abolition movement here in New York. President Obama, you need to listen to us, the new New York abolitionists. Our economy in New York was once ruinously dependent on slave labor, even though we were a northern state. In our history, there was a time when everything was run by unpaid slave labor. And the argument was it was a private public property issue. It kept us competitive in the world market. It kept the cost of cotton and sugar low, and we needed to have slaves whether we lived in a slave state or a free state. And the people of New York and heroes like Harriet Tubman dismantled that institution because it was a homicidal abomination. And we are proud of that history. But it's not just in the past. Now we, the new New York abolitionists, have risen up to say that our economy has become ruinously dependent on another homicidal abomination. Digging fossil fuels out of the ground, whether they're hard chunks like coal, slimy, oily things like petroleum, or vapors like gas, lighting them on fire is a 19th century idea that's killing the planet and killing our children, and we want it all abolished. That's our message to the president. And just in the way that we, New York abolitionists, once inspired the abolitionists of England, and England's abolitionists inspired us, I bring with me a message from the anti-fracking activists of England, who have been supergluing themselves to the headquarters of the Public Relations Office for the gas industry in England, and who are camped out even now around the exploratory wellheads. So I received a message from one of those who is engaged in that activism, and here it is. President Obama, I want you to hear this too. It says, New Yorkers, be heartened. We in England are winning people over every day. The police are getting an amazing education, and corporations are thinking twice about it. Thank you for all of your hard work in the U.S. We could not have done what we have done so far without you. In the words of Harriet Tubman, we will never give up. We are going to keep going, and we will never stop. Thank you.
So the next speaker is going to tell you about something happening after this afternoon, real quick. You all know her as well, Julia Walsh from Frack Action.
Hey everybody, how you doing? Great to see everyone here. I just wanted to show everybody our full-page ad that ran today in the Binghamton Press and Sun.
Thank you.
And let me read it to you. President Obama, stop covering up the science on fracking. Fracking can't be done safely. It poisons water and people and spells disaster for the climate. On July 27th, news broke that your administration covered up a fracking-related water contamination investigation in Dimmock, PA, after EPA officials reported the water was polluted. Instruct the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency to reopen its fracking investigation and resume water deliveries in Dimmock, PA. New Yorkers won't allow our neighbors in Pennsylvania to be poisoned by this toxic industry. All Americans deserve safe drinking water. So what I wanted to come up here and ask all of you, if you haven't heard, President Obama's administration and high-level EPA officials basically covered up water contamination that was going on in Dimmock, Pennsylvania. They did tests. Many of you remember when Cabot Oil and Gas stopped water deliveries. Many of us, including our fellow Pennsylvanians, stepped in. We helped get money to raise money to do water deliveries, and then we helped get a truck that has a water buffalo on the back of it. It's a makeshift truck that these folks have to go miles and miles to a neighboring town to get water out of a spigot. to deliver to their neighbors. This is not the America that I live in. Is it the America that you live in? No! So what we need to do right now is be here, be out in force, be loud and proud to let President Obama know that we in New York are not going to be poisoned. And I'm asking all of you, and we'll hand out all these flyers, if you can, after this rally, drive 1 hour out of your day down to Scranton, PA, and help stand there with the people in Pennsylvania. These people have spent so much of their time, their energy, their own personal money to come up here and to warn New Yorkers against fracking. It is early on that then Senator Thompson went to Dimock, PA and introduced the moratorium in the New York State Senate. That was the New York State moratorium. That was the shot heard around the world in the anti-fracking movement. And that is because of the outspoken nature and the moral fiber of the people of Dimock, Pennsylvania and Northeast Pennsylvania. These people are enduring literally death threats. They go to the grocery store and are heckled. They are facing ongoing harassment from their neighbors and from the gas industry. And we have to do what we can right now because we are so lucky and blessed in this state that this has not moved forward. And it's largely because they have shown a glaring, ugly light on what has happened to them, on the fact that their kids have developed rashes, projectile vomiting, losing their hair, getting very sick from drinking this water without knowing it, and breathing in the toxic air that is coming out of the compressor stations there. That's what's going on. And they have they're risking their lives sometimes to get the truth out. So I'm asking everybody here to please, if you can, come down to Scranton, Pennsylvania. I printed this out this morning at Staples, and it gives you the exact instructions to get there across from Lackawanna College. It's only 1 hour out of your day. These people have given thousands and thousands of their own personal money, their own time. I hope that we can do the same and show up there and support them today. The press conference starts at 1 p.m. and the rally is from 3 to 6 p.m. today. So that gives most of us time to get down there. So thank you so much, and let's keep fighting the good fight. Yes. Together we will win, and we are making history. Okay, up next, we have the Northeast Regional Director of Food and Water Watch. I want to say Frack Action is a small grassroots group. Myself, John, and Renee, we've just literally dedicated our lives to this 24/7. But if it weren't for the help of many people, many individuals, many groups, but I want to say Food and Water Watch, which is a national organization, the biggest national organization that stepped out first and helped us in New York. They came in, they helped us with getting people involved, they helped us with printing materials and putting resources into this movement that we wouldn't be here today without. And they have basically really taken a step on the national level, and Alex will tell you more about, in now creating, kind of based off of New Yorkers Against Fracking, our growing coalition, Americans Against Fracking. And they have organized and gotten major environmental organizations now, 350, Greenpeace, Center for Biological Diversity, and MoveOn.org, all these major big environmental and progressive organizations to come out for the ban. And right now, what's happening across this country in this national movement is the same thing that happened in New York when groups like NRDC and Sierra Club were not calling for a ban. Now they are being trumped by our power, the power of the citizens movement, that is not going to allow this to become a bridge fuel to nowhere, that we are going to transition and lead the call to renewable energy. And with that, Alex.
Wow. Way to go, Julia! I think that was the nicest introduction I've ever received. Probably ever will. I want to thank all of you guys for being here. I feel honored to just stand and speak on this.
Alex, I need your name.
Oh, would you like my name? So I'm Alex Beecham. I'm the Northeast Region Director at Food and Water Watch. I'm so honored to be here and speak alongside Julia, Sandra, Wes, Isaac, everyone who stood up here. I feel just honored to be among them. And what I want to do, everyone here knows why fracking is so bad. What I want to do today is tell you how fantastic a week we've had. So we can see the crowd here, the crowd of hundreds, easily 500 people here today. But yesterday, President Obama saw the anti-fracking movement everywhere he went. He landed in Buffalo, and we were there. We were there with a huge crowd calling for a ban on fracking. He moved to Syracuse, and despite an unbelievable driving rain, the anti-fracking movement was there, and we saw him. He waved at us. He saw us, and he knows we're there. At the same time yesterday, in Washington, D.C., 650,000 comments were delivered to his White House, to Obama's White House, saying, ban fracking on federal land. The coverage was fantastic. Daryl Hannah was there, many environmental groups, a huge crowd. So on the same day, in 3 different cities at least, there we were. He comes into Binghamton today. If he opens the paper, as Julia just showed you, he sees our ad. If he drives by, obviously he will see the huge anti-fracking community here today. Julia just mentioned this down in Scranton. The same thing will happen again. And this is important. You know, President Obama doesn't come to New York all that often, especially upstate. I don't think he knows. I really don't. I don't think he gets how big the anti-fracking movement has become. And we're here to show him today. And just like it has worked in New York, you know, there's something special about New York. We all know it. But honestly, organizing works. That's how we kept fracking out of New York. That's how we convinced Governor Cuomo. And ultimately, that's how we're going to win at the federal level as well. So I want to thank everyone for being here. And I want to close by asking a question people have asked me over and over and over again. My skeptical family, my skeptical friends. And they'll say, will this really work? Can we really do this? And they'll say, what they really say is, can we ban fracking? To which I always say, yes, we can.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Okay. So we're still waiting. We might be here for a little while. I came here 2 days ago to meet with the Binghamton Police and the Secret Service. And there's this thing when you're dealing with the Secret Service especially, is they tell you hardly anything. So the best information we got was that the road and the perimeter gets shut down at 10 o'clock and then opened back up at 3 o'clock. But when he's coming through, if he's coming through this way or he's coming through the other way, we don't know. I just want to make a couple announcements about the security part of this. So we're inside this perimeter now. We're stuck in here. Once the motorcade is coming through, no one's allowed to walk anywhere here except after the motorcade is through and he's in the building and the whole program starts. After he's in the building and the whole motorcade is already in place, there may be exit points down on the other side of the campus. But for at least a little while now, we're still all stuck inside this circle.
All right.
Good. Yeah.
What? Someone just had a question. What? Yeah, we know which building it is, and you can't get anywhere near it. So if you're in the Binghamton area, you know who Ben Perkis is from NIRAD. Hello, everyone.
So great to see so many smiling faces here. And it's true, we still can get fresh, clean drinking water in New York State. Because of all of the efforts of all of you and all of the efforts of thousands of activists across the state. We've been sending the message to Governor Cuomo that the things he's been trying to do to pass off as science has been a joke, and we're not going to tolerate it. And we insist on profound, real science with the real answers. So, what is the message we want to send to Governor Cuomo? We didn't want fracking then. We still don't want it. We still haven't been convinced. So, all of you who are here today, on the count of 3, I want you to say with me, New York still has the best water in the country. 1, 2, 3. New York still has the best water in the country.
Yeah. Right.
You know, it is a great honor to have the President coming here today, and the President is going to be speaking about education, which is extremely important.
Yellow buses.
Wave to the yellow buses.
So that was the press bus that just went through. They're taking press directly to the President.
I'm going to introduce one of the things that's happening in our state right now. We don't have horizontal drilling and hydrofracking happening, but what we do have happening is the buildup to, even if we didn't get it, but to move Marcellus gas through the state of New York. Communities all across New York, like over in Seneca Lake, are dealing with storage facilities. You've got compressor stations being built in various places across the state. You've got plans for LNG plants so that they can ship it overseas and bring the price up. I'm going to introduce Howard Hannum, one of the originators of Stop the Constitution Pipeline. Howard.
Another message for Obama today is, Obama, you have 2 daughters. Protect their future as well. Some of us are here from Pennsylvania, a town called New Milford, PA. Some of us are here from a town of Wright in Schoharie County, PA. And some of us are here from every neighborhood in between. The entire 122-mile run between the town of Wright and the town of New Milford, Pennsylvania is going to be the Constitution Pipeline route. And some of us are here to stop the Constitution Pipeline, and that is one of the main reasons why we are here. So along your journey today, keep in mind we are also here today to stop the Constitution Pipeline. We don't want 122 miles worth of pipeline and compressor stations for our seniors and our children. Thank you.
You do not have to be an intervener on the FERC pipeline to make comments. Please go to the FERC website. I don't know, you'll have to look at Stop the Constitution Pipeline for information, but go there and make comments. We need to let people know that this will not bring jobs that are high skilled except for a few temporary jobs, that it does not bring the kind of tax revenues we'll lose if our property values go down, and it does not bring energy independence. The only thing that brings energy independence is sustainable, renewable energy. That's it. Write to FERC today. It's really important because they are reading every single comment. And I've been reading the comments. You've got to get in there and write to FERC today. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Do we have a couple more announcements?
Okay. A really quick announcement. How many people have cell phones? Raise your hand if you have your cell phone with you. If you have your cell phone with you, raise your hand. Put it really high in the air. Okay? We're asking everybody to call Governor Cuomo today, and I have some Call Cuomo sheets that I can hand out with his telephone number in case you don't have it. Okay? I don't have this sheet on me. No, you want to use the 1-800 number. Yeah, so I'll hand out the sheet in a second, but call Cuomo and tell him two things. One, we want him to ban fracking, and the second thing is, why did he cancel on us at the fair when he knew he was going, right? Because he canceled, and then he heard that we canceled our rally, and then he decided to go.
Yeah.
So I'll pass out those flyers in a minute, but please make the call today.
People were asking where to write FERC. I think the best thing to do is go to the stopthepipeline.org website, and all the information is there. But please write comments to FERC.
Thank you.
So another announcement where some folks are passing out little cheat sheets for chants that we'll try to do when the motorcade comes by. And we could be standing here for a bit, so if you are getting hot, I would try to get a spot in the shade. This is gonna take a little while.